I'm going to be doing...
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. It's the big game, the Oil City-Franklin rivalry. We're here before game time. We'll be kicking off here in just a few minutes, but it is really my honor and the honor of the Oil City people to have with us Jim Shaughnessy, Jolton Jim, number 68. Welcome back to Oil City, Jim.
Well, Gary, thank you. I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to be back here. I mean, you can't walk 5 feet without running into an old memory or someone just coming up and putting their arm around you and saying the good old days. So exciting, to say the least.
Yeah, I tell you, there's an electric atmosphere here tonight that you just can't imagine. I haven't seen it all year long. I'm sure it's partly the Franklin game, but I think a lot of it's partly because you're returning. I see a lot of fans that have the Jolton Jim 68 shirts and Jolton Jim 68 hats. A lot of people turned out to see you tonight, and a lot of my friends said we were all talking about you. It's really great to have you here.
Well, I'll tell you, you know what, it is beyond belief, such an honor to come back to a town, you know, where your roots are. And this is, I can't go to any place in the world, get too far away, and you can only look out in the distance. And when you're dreaming, you just come right back to this city here. The coaching that went on in my life in early stages, the teachers, my teammates, the people of Oil City, and the people of Siverly. I mean, what can I say? You've just got to love, just what you were saying, Gary, the attitude, the feeling, the electricity that's in the air tonight. Do I feel honored? I'm humbled.
Well, that's great, and I'm glad to see you get a plug-in for Siverly. Every time I've mentioned it, somebody harasses me about it. So we got that in anyway. Have you talked to the team yet?
You know what? I just went up with Bob Taylor today. We were up through the school, and only the fellows I ran into in the hall, Winger and them, and I'll tell you what, if there's any indication what I saw in their eyes and the way they were looking, we are going to have one exciting football game tonight. They're pumped.
Well, we are going. It's a big game tonight. I suppose you've been told that the winner of this game goes to the state championship playoffs, and I don't think the team has ever been there since they established the playoffs for the state championship. Oil City has 2 league losses. They were upset at Warren. Franklin has 1. Well, winner of head-to-head competition goes, so if Oil City can beat them, they'll beat Franklin out. So this is a doubly big game for the Oil City Oilers tonight. Well,
I'll just tell you, I think, make no mistake about it, these kids understand just what's on the table here tonight. You know, you talk to them. There's one thing about having kids up and pumped up and enthused, but they're single-minded. They're not wondering generalities. They're meaningful specifics. They're targeted, and they're going for it, and they know that all the marbles lay right out here in the gridiron. This is the battlefield. You know, it was like George Patton when he stepped out here and he smelt the battlefield and he said, "So help me God, I do love it so." And I just saw that in these kids tonight. I can't wait. It's going to be a fabulous game.
And back to you, Jim. How does it feel to still have the record for the most rushes in the history of Oil City High School, doing it in 7 games, no less?
Well, you know, and I think part of the thing that I wanted to tell the kids in the locker room tonight, it's, you know, I mean, back then when I was doing it, I wanted to establish some things, and, you know, you come back 30 years later or whatever, and they're still here. And it just shows you what I think dreaming, setting goals, enthusiasm, and hard work will do. And I want to address that in the locker room tonight, because these kids tonight, you know, what a person can accomplish in 1 game is astronomical. It doesn't take a full season. And, you know, there's a few things I want to share with them, and I just hope some of that proves out here tonight.
Well, I do, too. I sure hope it has an effect on them, and a positive effect. I understand we have a future football player with us here tonight.
Oh, that one. You mean Jimmy Joe Shaughnessy
you
the
third? You want to say something to us, Jim?
Oh, Jim. I'll tell you what, he's strong, he's quick, he has quick feet, and most of all, he's really sharp. In fact, we say he's so smart we have to wear sunglasses when we talk to him.
Is that right? Is he going to be raised with leg weights on his legs, as his father did?
You remember those days,
Oh,
Gary. Yeah. I'll tell you what, we're sitting here doing an interview, and I didn't know that I'd be doing it with you, and you know, coming out of Siverly, how much we love that old town down there. But I tell you, I really love you and appreciate the work you're doing for this team, the community, and the school, and your TV station, what you do.
Well, thank you. That's Venango Video. We thank you much. And I understand you really have to go pretty quick here. You have to go to the locker room.
I do.
I really appreciate that, and thank you very much for taking your time out to come and have an interview with us. And we're going to be going to the game here very shortly. It's just about kickoff time, so we'll be right back in just a couple of minutes.
Friday or a Saturday game next week. A logical neutral site would seem to be Titusville. The Rockets have a home game next Friday night. If they choose Carter Field, they may have to play the game on Saturday. The other matchup would be between Greenville, who, if they beat Strong Vincent tonight, would have an undefeated regular season and officially be the #1 team from the Northwest Football Conference. They would play either Grove City or Slippery Rock. They are the two AAA teams in the Mercer County Athletic Conference. Now, Grove City beat Slippery Rock in head-to-head competition, but going into tonight's play, they are tied in overall records in league play. Those are the records that count at 4-4. Grove City has to play Hickory, and Slippery Rock should play Kennedy Christian tonight. So if Grove City were to lose and Slippery Rock were to win, Slippery Rock would be the playoff opponent. If they both win, Grove City would go on by virtue of the head-to-head competition. If they both lose, the same for Grove City, but they'd be in the playoffs with a 4-5 record. Other activities here at Oil City High School this evening include the honoring at halftime of Oil City's one first-team All-State football player, Jim Shaughnessy. And also, we'll get to take a look at the last regular season game for the senior players for whichever team comes out on top in this ball game. Again, with Larry Grill, this is Tim Shaw on 1450 WFRA. It's Friday night football, and we're glad that you're tuned in with us. For one reason or another, you couldn't or didn't plan to make it here this evening. We hope that you'll keep the radio on. It's a busy, busy night. For those who love high school sports, it's a big one. The teams have tried to downplay it a little bit. I guess probably Franklin more so than Oil City, but everybody knows this is for a playoff spot. Franklin's been to the District 10 playoffs 1 or 2 times. Oil City has never been there. And it's a rare occasion that these teams would meet in what would be, at least for one, the last game of the regular season with this much at stake. Until the 2 new teams were added to the Northwest Football Conference this season, this game would have come much earlier in the campaign. We'll be back with more on our pregame show at Oil City High School in 60 seconds on 1450 WFRA.
Franklin Auto announces the switch is on. Visit Franklin Auto on Grant Street in Franklin to find out why more and more people are switching to Ford and to Franklin Auto. Franklin Auto offers 43 years of quality sales and service, dependable, knowledgeable people you know and trust, and a commitment to keep you as a lifelong customer and friend. During October, take advantage of closeout prices on remaining 96 Fords and Mercuries. Franklin Auto, proud to support the Franklin Knights, Grant Street in Franklin. Stop in and find out why the switch is on. Looking for a great buy on a quality mattress? You can get a good night's rest with a Serta Perfect Sleeper from Days. All mattresses are now on sale with prices starting at a low $79. A 10-year warranted Serta Perfect Sleeper mattress is sale priced at just $179.99. Plus, you get a free Hollywood frame, free delivery, and free haul away of your old bedding with every set for a limited time only at Days. Plus, get 90-day Simmons cash with approved financing. Hurry into Days Home Furnishings and Appliances now. That's Days, still your carload store. South Franklin Street in Titusville. Open daily to 5, Monday and Friday to 8, and Saturday to 3.
Back at Oil City High School with Larry Grill, this is Tim Shaw. Last season, in the meeting between the Franklin Knights and the Oil City Oilers at Franklin High School, a 22-7 victory for the Oilers. And that was the start of Oil City's 13-game winning streak. They had begun last season 0-2, won the rest of the way to finish 8-2, though they did not get a playoff invitation, and then started this season with 5 consecutive victories. It wasn't until a game at Warren on a Saturday afternoon 3 weekends ago that Oil City's streak was snapped. They committed 6 turnovers in that game, losing by a 15-6 margin. Turned around and beat Meadville in a back-and-forth game, and then lost 35-15 to the powerful Greenville Trojans, the league leaders, last week. Franklin, after a non-league win at home over Mercyhurst and a league win at home in Hurricane Fran over Warren, lost 45-0 over to Greenville, and then turned things around immediately with a victory over Strong Vincent at Iroquois High School. And they have put together a 5-game winning streak, including that game, ever since then. The other Northwest Football Conference matchup, Strong Vincent at Greenville. Titusville is playing Erie East up at Iroquois High School. Meadville's gone outside the league to play at Ashtabula Harbor over in Ohio. And Warren plays at home tomorrow afternoon against Bradford from District 9. It's almost kickoff time, and we'll be back with the opening lineups and the start of this evening's Northwest Football Conference game between the Franklin Knights and the Oil City Oilers in just 60 seconds on 1450 WFRA.
This is Congressman Bill Klinger. It's been a real pleasure to serve as your congressman for the past 18 years. And as I prepare to leave your service, it's with great pride that I'm supporting Mary Jo White for State Senate. When women were first admitted to military academies, I wanted to make sure that young women from my district were given a fair chance. And I asked Mary Jo White to serve on my selection committee, and for more than 10 years, she's volunteered her time. She's someone whose judgment I trust. Mary Jo White has an outstanding record: business executive, attorney, community leader, wife, and mother. She knows what's important to the people of this rural area, and she won't be afraid to tackle tough issues like local tax reform and improving our roads and bridges. Mary Jo White will be an effective voice for rural Pennsylvania. She has the background, experience, and toughness to make sure that we are not forgotten in Harrisburg. So I urge you to vote for her on November 5th.
Paid for by Mary Jo White for Senate.
Well, the Oil City Oilers kicking team is getting ready to start this ball game. Oil City had won the coin toss, and Larry Grill says they have deferred to Franklin, and the Franklin Knights will be the receiving team. David Winger will be getting ready to kick off for the Oilers at the 40-yard line to our right. So the Franklin Knights here in the first quarter will be moving from left until right, and we'll give you the starting offense for the Knights. As soon as play is ready to begin, the deep men for Franklin will be Andy Shalott and Kevin Sanderson, and lined up at the 20-yard line are Corey Ace and Jason Snyder. We're underway at the oil field at Oil City High School. The 7-1 Franklin Knights, the 6-2 Oil City Oilers. Franklin will either take second place outright tonight, or Oil City will tie them for second and get the extra playoff spot because of the head-to-head competition. With Larry Grill, Tim Shaw, in the ninth broadcast of at least 10 weeks of Friday Night Football. Next week, the Franklin Knights will be hosting Slippery Rock, or they'll be playing Corey sometime next weekend in the District 10 playoff. It is a rather short kick by David Winger, right to left. Picked up at the 20-yard line. I think Corey Ace ended up in there with it. Carries it across the 20, brought down at about the 33-yard line, across the 30 to the 33, which is where the Franklin Knights will start, to our left as we look across the way from this very busy press box. 3 radio stations and Venango Video all here. And Fred Stevens, the senior quarterback, will lead the Franklin Knights out of the huddle. In the backfield with him will be Rob Saunders and Brad Scooter Bacher, who's back in there. And there was a man on the left wing as well. They'll keep it on the ground, go to the left side with it. The man breaks a tackle, and he's free at midfield, going all the way. The Franklin runner, that is Scooter Bacher, might be a flag back behind him. If it does not go against the Franklin Knights, it is a 67-yard touchdown. Let's see what the call is.
And there is a flag back at the line of scrimmage, and it looks like it's going to be against the Franklin Knights as Freddie Stevens is walking back that way. But what happened, Franklin came out in a different formation. They've been coming out of the I or split back, and they had Scooter Bacher at the I position. And when you said Saunders was back there, but he was clear over, almost lined up behind the end out there blocking, and they broke it right off the bat. But there must have been an illegal crackback block from where the flag is what I'm going to assume.
Remainder of the starters on the line for the Franklin Knights. At the center position, Marty Lynch, a junior. At the guards, Colton McBriar, a junior. Along with Corey Peterson, a senior. The tackles, Wes Griswold and Rand Kirtland, both seniors. Tight end is Dave Smith, a junior. Split end, Bundy Fulmer, last week's Franklin Park player of the game. He is a junior. And we've skipped the flanker position. Alternating in and out will be Andy Shalott and Rob Graham, and they are both seniors. So it will be first and long yardage for the Franklin Knights. A 67-yard touchdown run on the first play from scrimmage negated. Stevens keeping it himself, whether that was intended or not, and gets basically back to the line of scrimmage, the 25-yard line.
Well, Tim, that looked like it was an intended quarterback sneak. His both backs just really stood up and didn't go anywhere. So Freddie, quarterback sneaking, getting about 1 yard on the play, but they did again come out in the same formation. And right off the bat, we have Quentin Washington's in a fullback. Is that Scooter Balker still in the I-back?
We have Saunders back there with Washington, and Stevens back to pass. Has a receiver across midfield, but just does overthrow him. That was Scooter Balker speeding down the left sideline, with Washington and Saunders also having been back there in the backfield. Incomplete pass on what was 2nd and 18. We'll bring it back to about the 26-yard line of the Franklin Knights.
Well, that was just one beautiful pass by Freddie Stevens, just about a foot too far as it went right past Scooter Balker, who had his defender beat there. They had single coverage out on the split end out there, so they had Saunders at fullback, or at I-back. Quentin Washington is at fullback, and Brad Balker is split out. So that's another different look Franklin Knights are giving Oil City here.
And Andy Shalott wide to the right side as Stevens rolls to the right, takes the throw, keeps it himself. He's across the 30 to the 35 and then loses the ball there. It would have been 4th and 9. Oil City recovers, and the Oilers are in excellent field position for their first attack with the football.
Well, Freddie carrying that ball like a loaf of bread there made the mistake of trying to get too much out of nothing. He did a good job getting the yardage that he did there, about 10 yards, and they had 8 or 9 to go. And in traffic there, he tried to spin away with the ball not tucked in, and it was knocked out. So it's a big break, a big swing here in momentum from the called back touchdown to the fumble.
Ball at the 34-yard line of Franklin, 1st and 10, and just as soon as the ball is snapped to Oiler quarterback Scott Kaminsky, there is a flag thrown. The remainder of the starters for the Oilers will include Brian Harry, Tate Osterman, and David Winger in the backfield. Winger, a fullback. Tony Motter at tight end. Sean Fink at split end. The center, Mike Garback. At the guard positions, Ryan Hutchinson and Mike William, both sophomores. And at the tackles, Brent Hoover and Chris Barber. We've had an offside call against the Franklin Knights on Oil City's first play. That moves the ball to the Knights' 29-yard line. It's 1st and 5, Oil City. The ball is pitched back from Kaminsky to Osterman. Osterman fighting for the 25. He'll have that for a gain of about 4 yards.
Well, that was just a little power pitch. Their fullback lines up about 2 yards right behind the quarterback, kind of the old half wishbone formation there. And he just blocked over that tackle with the toss back to Osterman. And they just powered out about 3 or 4 yards there. It's going to be 2nd and about 1, maybe almost 2 there.
Keeping in mind on the first snap, there was an offside call. Brian Harry gets the call as the ball carrier for Oil City this time has enough for the first down. We will be moving the markers as they spot the ball close to the 22-yard line. Again, Franklin with first possession on a 3rd down and long yardage situation, fumbled the ball away. Oil City got it back. There's the first down of the ball game. It is the 1st and 10, and let's call the line of scrimmage the Franklin 23.
Well, this is a big play for Franklin right now. I know the momentum is on Oil City's side. They got to have a big play on 1st down here to take a little of that momentum away.
Garback over the ball, and Osterman will receive the handoff from the quarterback Kaminsky. Osterman across the 20, brought down at the 19-yard line for a gain of 4 on 1st and 10. Here's the Franklin defense on the line. Dave Smith and Mike Cassano at the ends. Smith's a junior, Cassano a senior. At tackles, Doug Rensel and Chad Blair, both seniors. At the linebacker positions, Gabe Matanzo, Rob Saunders, and Jason Snyder, seniors, and Clint Washington, a junior. In the defensive backfield, Kevin Sanderson and Andy Shalott, both seniors, are the cornerbacks, and Brad Balker, a senior at safety. Oil City keeping it on the ground once again. Brian Harry across the 15 to the 14-yard line.
Oil City not doing anything fancy. They're just basically running the same way, or the same play, both directions there. They have 2 different backs lining up, one on the left side, one on the right side, and they've just basically taken turns right now. Osterman's the back, and Harry was a blocker.
Pitch to Osterman only needs a yard, as Brian Harry had picked up 5 on the last play. On 3rd and 1, he's close to the first down, but we'll have a stoppage of play, and the question is whether we will have a measurement.
I think they're waving him in. Bad angle for us here, but I would say I think Oil City's going to pick up the first down from the angle that I'm at. But it would be an interesting call right off the bat. Oil City has the momentum, but watching their field goal kicker, he was, kicking the ball in consistently from the 35-yard line, so he has plenty of leg here.
Needing the 13-yard line. It's very, very close. They're inches short.
Well, it looked like about the length of the ball, and I think what Oil City's going to do is go for it. As I said, they've just been, blowing Franklin right off the line. Franklin has not had good penetration. It's 4th and 1 here. Franklin needs to attack at the line of scrimmage and drive those linemen backwards.
Gar back over the ball for the Oilers, moving right to left here in the first quarter. Scott Kaminsky behind center. Kaminsky.
Well, we have illegal motion on Oil City there, Tim. What happened there? So that might make a difference now. They may want to kick the field goal.
Kaminsky could not get the handoff to Brian Harry because of the whistle and the yellow flag. That'll move it back 5 and bring up a 4th and a long 5, putting the ball back at about the 18-yard line. This would be around a 34 or 35-yard field goal if that's the way they go. It is a procedure call against the Oil City Oilers.
Well, the Oil City coach wondering why that was called, but what had happened was one man was in motion and the left end stood up, and once that happened, you had the 2 men in motion, so the penalty was called as we have a timeout.
And that timeout coming with 8:44 left in the first quarter. It's a scoreless game. Oil City driving. They have a decision as to whether to take the field goal or go for it on 4th and 5. The Oilers and Coach Paul Stam have called the timeout. We'll be back in 60 seconds to this scoreless ball game on 1450 WFRA.
We asked over 4,000 of our customers to give us their opinions on personal banking at First National Bank of Pennsylvania. We asked them to tell us what they liked about doing business with First National and why. And they told us.
First National certainly has personal bankers, not like other banks where you're considered to be a number.
They're always friendly and have a smile. I like that.
It's nice to have a hometown bank with hometown people serving you.
First National has provided excellent overall service to our business. Both courtesy and accuracy are superior at First National.
I like going into a bank where my money is safe and every teller greets me by my name. It truly makes my day, plus it gives me a sense of security.
I'm completely satisfied with all my banking at First National.
I love this bank.
Actual customer comments on file. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
On 4th and a long 5 for the Oil City Oilers following the penalty for illegal procedure. Kate Osterman gets the call, and there's a flag down as Osterman runs to the left side. The officials conferring, this officiating crew from the Warren County area, down here at Oil City High School for the big Franklin-Oil City matchup. With the winner going on, we say hello to Franklin High School's #1 fan, Hap Rahman. Hap, with a medical problem in the recent past, is listening to this game at home and unable to attend. We know if he could, he would be here rooting the red and black on. Hello, Hap.
Well, Tim, the penalty is declined. I believe it was a holding penalty, but with the ball being turned over here to Franklin on the first down situation, they're going to take the ball. So that was a good defensive stand by Franklin to break some of Oil City's momentum. Now what they need to do is come out here and get the drive and move it down the field. And Tim, looking at the first 2 series there, I think Oil City is going to be a power-type team where Franklin's going to have a chance to break things a little more wide open here with more speed.
On the 4th down play, Osterman basically got back to the line of scrimmage. Stevens dropping the snap. Looks like he fell on it. It'll be a loss on the play for Franklin, but I do think the Knights held on. Second set of plays for the Knights. A second fumble by the quarterback, Stevens. This time, though, Franklin does not turn it over. Line of scrimmage was the 18. We put it back to the 14-yard line. On that play, it'll be 2nd and 14.
Well, I think Freddie needs something good to happen. He was the only one that showed any emotion out there on that penalty, and I think he's a little bit down. He needs to get himself up there and get a big play.
Lynch with the snap to Stevens, and the pitch back to Scooter Bacher. Just a small pickup on the left side as the Oil City defense, led by number 33, Brian Britton, getting in there quickly. Oil City's front defensive line has a unique situation in which they have 2 players wearing numbers in the 30s who are listed as running backs on offense and defensive tackles on defense. And those players are Brian Britton and Mike Paprocki. Also on the line at the ends, Nick McBride and Chris Barber. The linebackers are Brian Harry, Tony Motter, David Winger, and Ryan Hutchinson, and the cornerbacks, Scott Kaminsky, Ben Carnish, and Tate Osterman. On the third down play, Rob Graham gets the call, cradling the ball, coming up the right sideline. He's across the 20 and knocked out of bounds at about the 22-yard line. So that's not nearly enough for the first down, but a nice run by Rob Graham, picking up the yardage on that play. And they'll take the ball to the 21s, actually, where they'll mark it. We have 7:18 left in the first quarter. The clock stopped because the ball was carried out of bounds, and it's fourth down and about 6 yards to go. As Bundy Fulmer comes in to punt the ball away, he'll be standing inside the 10-yard line at about 7. Ball being snapped from the 21 by Marty Lynch. It's a good snap, and Fulmer booms one across midfield, takes 2 bounces, now takes a return bounce, and it will not be returned by Scott Kaminsky, waiting to pick it up after that second bounce, but it had some backspin the third time around as it hit, and the ball will be marked at the Oil City 41-yard line. That's where the Oilers will take over on their second series of downs. Oil City got the ball on a recovered fumble, had a fourth down and 1-foot situation, then 2 penalties, turned the ball back over to the Knights. Franklin unable to do anything with the football on their second possession, punted away, and Oil City takes over. Bundy Fulmer, last week's Franklin Park Player of the Game, in a large part because of his punting ability. With the exception of one that was shanked out of bounds, Bundy averaged nearly 40 yards a punt. Bundy also had the game-winning point after kick in the 7-6 victory over Meadville and forced the fumble on defense. The ball carrier for Oil City is Brian Harry. Looked to pick up 4 to the 45-yard line, but they're going to rule that his knee was back at about the 43, so it's a gain of a couple of yards, bringing up second and an 8, maybe second and a long 7. The Oilers need to make it across midfield by nearly a yard for a first down on this play.
And Tim, the initial tackle there was by Bundy Fulmer, and then Saunders wrapping things up there.
Osterman in a wing position, and David Winger, the fullback, will get the call this time. Picks up a yard to the 44-yard line, and he's stopped by Rob Saunders. Defensively for the Franklin Knights at the linebacker position, they have Gabe Matanzo, who's the leading tackler in the Northwest Football Conference with 109 going into this one, and Rob Saunders right behind him with 106. Also there in the top 7 or 8 among the tackles, Clint Washington, number 6 in the league, and Dave Smith, number 7. Washington, a linebacker, Smith, a defensive end. So it's the third down, and a long 6 from outside the Oil City 45-yard line. Kaminsky ready. Kaminsky fakes the handoff. He's being rushed by Corey Ace. Gets away from Ace. Has a receiver. There is a penalty flag down, but it looked like the receiver, Sean Fink, had the catch inside the Franklin 25-yard line.
Well, did they mark it as a catch? It definitely was interference, but they must be marking the ball down there on the pass play, as that play covered about 32 yards. So they'll probably take the play, because in high school football the penalty would only be 15 yards. But I'm not sure that are they marking that as no? See, they called that an incomplete pass. They just kept the spot of the foul. So it was pass interference. The catch was not made, and they're marking off the 15 yards. So that is pass interference and not a complete catch. But what happened there, Kaminsky rolled out and made it look like it was going to be a run, and Franklin committed to it, but he ended up throwing the ball long. It was a wobbly pass that was underthrown, and that's what caused the interference, as the Franklin defender just ran right up the Oilers' back.
Corey Ace nearly had the sack for the Knights, but Kaminsky got away. It would have been a 32-yard pass completion to Sean Fink. They bring it back to the 45, then mark off the 15 yards on the interference penalty. So mark it at first and 10 at the 40-yard line of the Franklin Knights, keeping it on the ground. A 1-yard gain for the back, Tate Osterman. Osterman, a 5'10", 165-pound junior. Mark it at the 39-yard line, 2nd and 9, Oil City.
And the tackle coming from Clinton Washington and Bundy Fulmer, both from the outside